So here's a example of aggressive fluidics with efficient nucleus removal. I mean, the goal isn't to do surgery super fast all the time, of course, but it's nice when it does happen. It's nice when it happens comfortably. So here I'm running 600 max vacuum, and it'll get there sometimes, and pretty pretty aggressive phaco and vacuum settings, and the flow rate is pretty steady, leads to very efficient nucleus removal there. I mean, I think that was probably less than 10 seconds. What I love about the Quatera is the customizability. I mentioned that in the beginning slide, which is that this is a super customizable system. And to the point that this user interface gives you a slider that you can move on the different, whether it's the dynamic factor built into the vacuum, um, or the vacuum itself. And everything's got this slider where you can really customize that feel and you can replicate really anything you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for replication of a vacuum-based system where you have aggressive settings and you want things to move quickly, you can set the dynamic factor to fastest, pump the vacuum all the way up, switch to a vacuum control mode, take out the flow mode, and it'll run just like a vacuum-based system. If you want to run it as a very stable, slower peristaltic system, you can mimic that by slotting the dynamic factor down and changing to flow-based mode. And same thing with ultrasound settings. Everything's got a slider, which allows for ultimate customizability, and which is why after every surgical day, I digest my cases and my videos, and I basically optimize within my own knowledge of this machine over time where I need to go from there to make things better for post-op day one outcomes. Uh, Again, just showing what the Quatera can do. This is a very dense, as you can see. You don't even really get a red reflex through that cataract. Very dense nucleus, hand motion, vision. Um, and I'm running at a 40 IOP here. And I'm probably doing most of my cases right around this now with a 40 IOP. Most cases I will flip up the lens and just kind of eat in the iris plane, but here, because of the how dense this nucleus is, I'm using a chopper to get through it. And the EPT time on even this is a pretty high EPT time, of course, for me, but you can see it's very efficiently eating through a very, very dense nucleus. Um, 25 is not awful. I'd say on average, my EPT times with Quatera have gone down, usually in the ballpark of 5, which has been great for post-op day one outcomes. And then here's something that's it's a hot buzz topic as of late, which is can we operate at physiologic IOP or near physiologic, which is really the lower limits. So we're talking 30. I guess some machines are touting 25 as a pressure that you can operate on. As a disclaimer, I do not recommend doing that. What you end up getting is very, very high flow. So unless you decrease your vacuum and decrease your flow rates, I would not operate at physiologic IOP for majority of your cases because you're going to get a lot of fluid and a lot of fluid movement. Even though it may seem intuitively like, oh, if I'm operating at lower pressure, then why would it be such a crazy anterior chamber? Well, you're going to increase your flow significantly, especially if you have high vacuum and high flow rates. So I'm just demonstrating here that can be done. You can operate at a lower physiologic IOP, but probably not good for post-op day one outcomes because you're going to push more fluid through, which means more corneal edema in cases where you otherwise could have been more efficient. But it's certainly possible. If that's an interest of yours, again, totally customizable machine. So if you wanted to operate at lower pressures and ramp down a bunch of your settings, certainly you can. It can be done. So that's the Quatera from my vantage point in our practice. It's been a pretty incredible transition from other machines I've used in the past. We're gonna, I guess, gonna field to open question format here, and I'm happy to talk more in detail about anything that you guys would like to.